ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network, as tonight we're here at Texas Motor Speedway as we are going to bring you the Coffee Cup Racing League Nitro Series, race number 11 of 12. I am your host for tonight. My name is K.R. Stolfus, and in the booth with me is the wordsmith himself, Chris Legue. Chris, how you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing okay, KR. Tonight, here we are at Texas 100 laps for the Cowboy Coffee 100. And as you mentioned, KR, it is race number 11 of 12. Points are getting really close here towards the end of this season.
Yeah, speaking of points, let's take a quick look at this one. Todd Sargent only holding on to that points lead by 3 points. A very close battle at the top, not only for first place, but we are tied for third. AJ Hamill, Al Smith sitting 16 points behind Todd Sargent. Ryan Nolan, though, right now, one of the faster in the top three. Todd Sargent right now posting 6th quick time in this practice session. So anything can happen here in this points battle, Chris, as we're just down to 2 races left.
Well, that's it. After tonight, we've got just the one more, but 18 car field, not a bad car count here going into the second to last race here at Texas, KR, and these guys are looking to rumble here tonight.
That they are, as we are getting ready to end this practice session and go into qualifying here at this 1.5 mile Texas Speedway. And I'll tell you, this is a fun track to be at, but trouble spots definitely coming off of turn number 2.
Yeah, turn 2, of course, front stretch. From what we've noticed here during practice, the front stretch way faster than that back stretch. The front stretch, you get about an extra 5 to 6 miles an hour, so you're carrying more speed in the 1 and 2. But yeah, KR, we've seen it here in practice, these cars having a little bit of an issue coming on out of turn 2.
So as we get to the final seconds in this practice session, we're getting ready to roll into qualifying here. And one of these guys is going to put it on the pole here for the Cowboy Coffee 100, with Joe Schaefer setting the fastest time in practice. We'll see if he can do that here in qualifying once again. So as the drivers take to the Speedway, Chris, who do you think we should be watching to kick this off?
Well, you know, I'm going to have to say you have to watch Todd Sargent, Ryan Nolan, and AJ Hamill, Al Smith, if at all possible. I mean, those 4 drivers really are the top 4 in points right now. Andy Lambert just on the outside looking in, but there is a slight gap there of about, if math is right, 29 points, KR. So Andy is there, but he would have to have the luck of the Irish to try and win. So let's try and focus in, shall we, on the top 4 here in points.
Not a bad place to go as Bill Martin shuts it down before he gets across the line. Ryan Nolan in that 87 machine starting to get his race car up to speed. And you know, one thing here for this Coffee Cup Racing League, as we look at our race information here tonight, we will have 100 laps. Drivers will have 2 sets of tires in total. And keep in mind, points are important here, as the battle at the top is very, very close. So every position matters, and that starts right here with qualifying.
Yeah, every week it's points, but when you get to the end here and you realize you have a chance, KR, of course, points are way more important now for a lot of these drivers than they were at the beginning of the season, and now they can kind of see the end. The end is near, and we're here to bring it to you live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network every Wednesday night.
So as Nolan goes to the top of the speed chart here, we're going to take a look at one of our other drivers. That is Al Smith. Al shutting down his qualifying lap time. Smith currently sitting 3rd place. Now he's going to drop down to 4th as Jason Garrett moves into 4th. So as I'm saying all these names and bringing up their lap times, drivers are crossing the start-finish line, and Justin McDuff right now sitting on top with a 29.896.
Very, very fast time for Justin McDuff, and the question is, does anybody have anything for that time? Right now, the answer is no, as we've got the top 8 set in qualifying. Andy Lambert 8th, Brett Bartle 7th, Matt McLean takes over 6th.
Chris Stump moves into 7th place on his first lap time, but he's going to drop down to that inside lane. His first lap he ran on the high side. This time he's down on the bottom as he works his way down the backstretch. We'll see if Chris Stump maybe is going to be able to put this on pole. And our qualifying session getting ready to draw to an end here. We are going to step away right after this for our national anthem as Chris Stump crosses the start-finish line. His lap time going to move him up into 5th place. So guys, no one go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as the drivers begin putting their cars onto the grid for tonight's starting lineup. So while we let them take to that grid, Chris, we got 100 laps of racing here tonight. How do you think that's going to go down, especially with one set of tires that are behind the pit wall right now?
Well, when you take them, it's definitely going to be important here tonight, KR. And look, a lot of stress here for a number of drivers looking to try and take advantage coming out of this race. And well, we'll get into that during the race, but chief among them, Ryan Nolan, sitting in the 4th starting spot.
All right, so as the drivers get on the grid, let's go ahead and bring you tonight's starting lineup. On pole position in the 1 machine is Stephen Page with a 29.876, a heck of a qualifying time for him. Joe Schaefer in the 6 on his outside. Row number 2 will be the 20 of Justin McDuff from the Empire Racing Team. On his outside will be the 87 of Ryan Nolan. Row number 3 will be the 18 of AJ Hamill, another Empire Racing Team member. And on his outside will be the 57 of Jason Garrett. Row number 4 will be the 98 of Chris Stump. On his outside, the 42 and our points leader, it is Todd Sargent. Finally, row number 5 here, we'll see the Al Smith in the 96. On his outside will be the 88 of Matt McLean.
Yeah, starting on inside row number 6, it's going to be the 95 of Highline Racing. It's going to be Charlie Widener. 2 is outside, starting in 12th. Driving the number 81, it's going to be the Misfit Motorsports Jimmy McIntyre Jr. Starting in the 13th spot in his number 39, the Posse's own Bill Martin. Who is outside driving the number 2, it's going to be Brett Bartles. Andy Lambert out of Milton, Vermont, going to be starting his 8 car in the 15th starting spot. to his outside. Out of the mid-south, the 59 of Bruce Potter. How about the 777 of Jeremy Carpenter starting inside? In 17th spot, Mike Holtzclaw going to be starting his 22 to his outside in 18th position. And KR, that is it.
That is it. That is our starting lineup. 18 cars making the call to the grid here tonight as they make their way out on to the Speedway. Stephen Page in the one machine looking to lead this field to the green flag. The lights already out on the Ford Mustang. And Chris, we're getting ready to let these bad boys have at it here tonight.
Well, the lights are out on the Mustang, but they are bright here in Texas. Everything getting set to be a little bigger in Texas, including this race that we've got here for you tonight, the Coffee Cup Nitro Series Cowboy Coffee 100, getting ready to roll out as soon as that pace car takes that. Does, and the one car is Stephen Page, the first one to the loud pedal, and Page with a heck of a start to this race. Behind him, it's Just McDuff, Joe Schaefer going to be battling it out for second spot, and already a challenge here for fourth and fifth between AJ Hamill and Ryan Nolan. AJ Hamill taking to the inside.
The 18 machine trying to get a run up off the bottom of the corner, but Ryan Nolan using that high side to his advantage, carries all the speed down the backstretch. He is going to take fourth place here, and now everyone drops down to that inside lane here through 3 and 4.
Todd Sargent, our points leader, coming into tonight in his number 42, up 2 spots already. KR, before we've hit lap number 3, Todd Sargent knows what he has on the line, and he is pressing the pedal here tonight.
We go on board with Todd Sargent as he works his way down this back stretch. He is trying to put himself into this championship picture. He is our points leader, but Ryan Nolan right now ahead of him, you know, with only a 3 points gap coming to this race. It is very important to gain as many points as possible. Make sure, though, you got a little something left at the end of this race.
Yeah, and while you were inside of his car, KR, we had a battle for the race lead. Justin McDuff able to get around Stephen Page for the race lead, and he is stretching out. Here comes Schaefer. Schaefer down to the inside. Page trying to hold on to the outside. He can't do it. The 6 takes away second spot, with Ryan Nolan now to the inside as we're under caution.
Yellow flag coming out. Looks like something has happened to Bruce Potter. Let's take a look at this and figure out what happened to the 59 machine. And I'm gonna say that is a huge case of netcode, as Mike Holtzclaw was blinking and all of a sudden we got one around. Not only that, but it looks like something has happened to another car. Charlie Widener was slowed down the back or down the front stretch also.
Well, I gotta be honest, I have never seen net. I've seen bad net code, but those two drivers not even close to each other. And wow. And then up ahead, like you said, yeah, Charlie Widener, he just solos it around, no contact with the walls. I think he's gonna be okay, but that incident with Bruce Potter, that was a total iRacing mistake right there, KR.
That it was. And Charlie Widener looked like he had a little bit of help getting around in 3 and 4.
I mean, I was being nice.
Well, we can't all be nice.
No.
Lights are on the speedways. The yellow flag is out. And one of the best things I think tracks have done in recent years is utilize the fence poles as an entire, yellow flag signal. I don't know. I think that's just the coolest thing. I know track lights are out there all over the track, to signify the yellow, but having it light up that front stretch all the way along all those fence posts, I think that's just cool.
It is, and it, you can't have too many lights to kind of signify a caution, especially in real life, KR, as you know, but it's pretty cool that they're able to capture that here in iRacing. And for all the things that sometimes they don't get quite right, boy, they nail some of the other stuff perfect.
So our race leader is the 20 of Justin McDuff. We look out the back of McDuff at this field. And I'm gonna say, Chris, it looks like Bruce Potter has put his car on pit road. Heavy damage on that thing from that netcode. Not a good start for the 59 machine.
59, he may be done. I mean, the only thing that might save him here is it's a long race, and he might be able to get back out, but heavy damage to the number 59 car, and as of yet, not coming back out on track. KR, I think it's going to be a little while before we see him, if at all. I'm thinking somewhere in the 6 to 10 minute range.
As the field continues to pace around, guys, we're going to step away for just a minute. No one going where. We'll be right back after this.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As lights have gone out on our pace car, the field stacked up 2 by 2, everyone getting ready to get back to the throttle once again. So Chris, working our first caution here. A little early to say too much about race strategy, but knowing that you have 1 extra set of tires, no one came down pit road this time. However, Bruce Potter has made his way back out onto the speedway.
Yeah, I think a little too early to worry about tires or fuel or anything like that. Just haven't run enough laps here under the green to really know what the handling characteristics of the car are here during the race. As the pace car drops down, we are getting ready to go back into the green flag. Justin McDuff hard on that go pedal, and the 20 launches himself towards the front. Joe Schaefer still in second spot. Ryan Nolan, oh, we got a 3-wide battle here for third spot.
3 wide into turn number 1. Nolan all the way on the top shelf, but Todd Sargent, he is a driver determined here tonight as he muscles his way into third. Now he's hungry for second.
Ryan Nolan then sneaks down to the inside. He's looking to follow Sargent around the track for just a moment. Ideally wants to get in front of him. They line up 2 and 3 right now on the track. Your race leader, Justin McDuff. In 4th spot, it's Schaefer. Schaefer in the 6 car, holding that up lane just a little bit, trying to find a little speed, not getting there yet. And Todd Sargent goes to the upside as we are under caution, and that makes caution number 2 on lap 9.
We're going to take a look at what happened here. Al Smith going around. We look out the back of the 96. Looks like the 2 of Brett Bartles and Bill Martin all right there. Contact with Al Smith, and Al's going to back it into the wall, and that is going to bring out this caution here. Just some hard, close racing. Take another look at this one as the 96 smacks that outside wall. Small damage on that one. Looks like that is easily repairable. but nonetheless, another caution out here.
Oh man, there was another incident that was happening at the same time, KR. I don't know if you caught it, but Jeremy Carpenter in the 777, along with the 22 of Mike Holtzclaw, the 81 of Jamie McIntyre Jr., all involved in the 777, comes away, ends up losing the hood off from the car. It is in tough shape out there.
The 22 missing his front bumper now as he got into trouble with Jeremy Carpenter. So Mike Holtzclaw, Jeremy Carpenter, Al Smith, all getting a piece of this one with Jimmy McIntyre as well. So a lot of things going on here. A lot of trouble here very early here at Texas.
And Al Smith did not want that to happen here tonight, as he is still locked into a battle. 4 points, tied for third spot with AJ Hamill, and Al Smith can ill afford to be stuck on pit road, but there he is. KR had to hit the pit button, and he is going to be off track for just a moment. But Todd Sargent, let's talk about that last restart, because man, like you said, a man on the mission here tonight, the 42, looking to try and win a championship.
Yeah, he is really very aggressive here. Now, with this only having one set of tires, you got to wonder how hard he is pushing his equipment. Is this a pace he can maintain throughout the next 40-ish laps or so to try and get to that halfway point before he can slap on some new tires? But man, right now, that 42 is all determined to lead a lap.
Well, kind of getting to that point, KR. Problem with it, because so far we've run more laps here under caution when we have on green. Now, when we see that long green flag, and we will see that green flag run, that's when we're going to have to kind of pay attention. Does he back off just a little bit? Is he content to just try and stay ahead of Nolan, knowing that's all he has to do for the championship for this race and the next? Look, there's a lot of things going through a driver's mind right now. We're going to have to kind of see how Todd Sargent plays this one out going forward.
All right, so as the field works its way around this 1.5 mile speedway, we do have good news for Bruce Potter. He was able to get back on the lead lap in that 59 machine, so good for the 59. However, Jeremy Carpenter, Al Smith, and Jimmy McIntyre, Mike Holtzclaw, they all are back on pit road trying to work on their machines.
Yeah, a lot of cars beat up already in this one, but and unfortunate for Al Smith, like I said, tied for third place coming into tonight in the points, and doesn't look like his season's going to end the way he wanted it to, at least in this race. Of course, anything can happen. That's why we watch them, KR.
Yeah, I mean, this is why we run all the laps that we do. This is why just because you put your car on pole position, you're not necessarily guaranteed a win. Just ask Stephen Page right now. He's running in 5th place. Set the fastest time in qualifying, finds himself in 5th. But, you know, Stephen Page, a smart driver, has some speed in that thing, and maybe he just settled into the pace that he feels is what is needed to win this race.
Yeah, no doubt he can run some fast lap times, and you're right. Maybe he is just kind of settling into a more long-term pace. We're gonna have to wait and see on that one too. Look, way too early on in this one at lap 13 to try and figure out what anybody out there is thinking. God knows I don't know, and some of these guys may not know yet either.
No, and that is one thing that here in the early stages you can easily get sucked into racing your competitors and forget that you do have, you know, to make this car last 100 laps. I know for a fact that there are times when you start seeing red, your adrenaline gets pumping, and you are trying to do everything you can to be in front of everybody. But Stephen Page showing some discipline here and settling in early, I believe.
Yeah, there's been plenty of times I've raced red, and it's a horrible feeling when you come out of it and you understand what you were just doing. But I think these guys are going to get it all figured out. Speaking of getting it all figured out, Al Smith's team has got it all figured out. He's back out on track, being scored in the 14th spot right now, down 5 spots from where he started. So Al Smith still has a lot of work to do. There is some aerodynamics here at play. Texas is big enough to worry about some aerodynamics, so it'll be a matter of just how bad Al Smith's car is. From the distance, it doesn't look too bad. We'll see when we get back under the green.
Yeah, as the field makes its way once again across the start finish line, they're going to start stacking up 2 by 2 as the lights go out on the pace car. Right now, only one car on pit road. That is the 22 of Mike Holtzclaw, and he has been sitting on pit lane for a while. Looks like maybe his night could be done.
Yeah, unfortunately, Holtzclaw is being scored multiple laps down at this point. Only driver to be scored multiple laps down, or any laps down at all, as we start hitting the back stretch. The Tim Hortons number 20 of Justin McDuff, your race leader. He's to the inside, to the outside. Our points leader coming into tonight, and up 6 spots, it's Todd Sargent in the 42.
So with them stacked 2 by 2, we're gonna let them go once again. Bit of a rough start here to this Texas race, as we are gonna take the green flag on lap 15 of 100, already bringing a close to our second caution of the night. Justin McDuff, your race leader. Todd Sargent gonna restart on his outside. Then it's Ryan Nolan, Joe Schaefer for row number 2, as here we go. Justin McDuff picks up the throttle once again as they set sail for turn number 1. Ryan Nolan getting a good start here as he's already to the inside of Todd Sargent.
This is the restart that Ryan Nolan needed. He is trying with everything that he has to try and stay in front, or get in front rather, of Todd Sargent in the 42. Now Ryan Nolan stays down to the inside. The 20 may have opened the door. Will the 87 take advantage? He does. He drops down to the inside in turn 3. The 87 of Ryan Nolan looking for the race lead, and they are leaving the 42 of Sargent in the dust.
Side by side, they are off turn number 4 and across the line. Finally, Justin McDuff is going to muscle his way back into the race lead. Ryan Nolan tried to give him a run for his money, just couldn't pull it off, and McDuff now trying to set sail and open up a gap, but can he do it? That 87 machine has some speed in it.
You know, Ryan Nolan doing everything that he can to try and put a little pressure on McDuff. Meanwhile, JJ Fluffy Garrett in the 57 putting some pressure on of his own on Todd Sargent. Fluffy Garrett looking for 3rd spot.
Down to the inside goes the 57. Todd Sargent now in that outside lane. He's going to get a good run down this backstretch, though, because of it, as we ride on board with the 42 down the backstretch. Another battle for the race lead shaping up. Ryan Nolan trying to take it from Justin McDuff, and does so. Corner exit, he's got him cleared.
The 87 takes the inside lane and takes over the race lead. Meanwhile, Fluffy Garrett not able to make the pass on Sargent, falls back a little bit. Schaefer is right behind him in the 6. The 6 looking to the inside, coming off the corner. We haven't really seen that work. It doesn't work this time. Joe Schaefer sneaks in behind Fluffy Garrett in the 57, falls into place. Behind them, it's 2 by 2 racing. It's Chris Stump. AJ Hamill Stump to the inside. AJ Hamill in the 18 to the outside. And KR Stump may have him on the inside here.
Hamill trying to keep the RPMs wound up in that 18 machine, but he is going to lose out to the 98, as now Garrett comes under attack from Joe Schaefer. Joe on that high side once again, and Ryan Nolan now starting to feel some pressure from Justin McDuff.
Yeah, McDuff slowly starting to reel the leader back in the 87. McDuff not going away. The Tim Hortons number 20 looking strong out there, but the 87 Nescafe knows exactly what he's got to lose here tonight, and that is valuable points to your race, your points leader, Todd Sargent, who's currently being scored in 3rd. But here comes Fluffy Garrett again to the inside. KR Fluffy is not going away in that 57.
Garrett once again to the inside of the 42 as Sargent has a little bit of a bobble getting into 3. That is going to cost him not 1 spot, but 2, as Schaefer is going to work his way to the inside now. He gets a nose ahead, and they sail it off into turn number 1. Schaefer takes over that spot. Todd Sargent now finding himself in 5th place.
Bumper cover to bumper cover here for the race lead. Ryan Nolan fighting off McDuff. McDuff to the inside for a moment, had the lead back. Ryan Nolan able to take it back. Now working that outside lane. Ryan Nolan trying to keep the RPMs up in his number 87. At the line, McDuff has the race lead once again. Look out behind them as they're running side by side. Fluffy Garrett looking to take advantage.
Garrett in the 57 now. A 3-car battle for the race lead. Where's Garrett going to go? He takes a peek in the middle. Now he decides to go to the high side with the 20 of McDuff. But how is this going to play out? McDuff almost got too low. McDuff has to chase it up the Speedway. And now they get single file for the front stretch.
Top 3 under a blanket. Then it's Joe Schaefer in the 6 car, kind of by himself right now. Todd Sargent has Chris Stump reeling him in. Stump in the 98 looking to try and break into the top 5, just outside right now in 6th spot.
Onto the back stretch they go. Everyone got single file there. This track big enough, like you mentioned, to have an aerodynamic effect on these cars. Drafting is important here down these straightaways, and everyone using that to their advantage. As you see the 98 of Stump pull down to the inside. Meanwhile, all that going on, our leaders stay in single file, the top 4 right there underneath the blanket.
Yeah, and that's important, except for one thing. McDuff decides he's going to drop down to the inside. It's like they're listening in, KR, and don't want to listen to what we have to say. McDuff drops down to the inside. He is still to the inside. The 87 couldn't make it back down in front of him. Justin McDuff charging back up for the race lead.
We go on board with the 95 of Charlie Widener. Charlie, who went for a spin here, he now has Matt McLean down to his inside as the race lead is really heating up. They are all over the track as McLean makes the pass on Charlie Widener.
Ryan Nolan able to hold on, but here comes Joe Schaefer in the 6 car, making that outside lane work, and I love seeing this. 2 lanes of traffic, definitely able to work here. The 6 car taking advantage. The 87 doesn't know what to do. Ryan Nolan trying to hang out in the middle, and that could make him the man in the middle as the 20 and the 6 looking to part water.
That 87 trying to make his car very wide, but Joe Schaefer in the 6 using that high side here as he's going to go to the top shelf through 3 and 4. He looks to get back into the throttle as soon as he can and carry all that momentum down the front stretch. Oh my goodness. Another lap, another battle for the race lead.
Unbelievable side-by-side action heading into turns 1 and 2. And it looks like Schaefer on the outside is keeping that engine revved up. And he may have the advantage coming off the corner, except for he slides just a little bit. And that might be all Ryan Nolan needs. Heading into the next set of corners, the 87 comes back, wheel cover to wheel cover.
These 2 drivers better be careful not to cross lug nuts. You never want to cross streams as the 6 and the 87 duke it out for the race lead. The 20 and the 57 just kind of sitting back for the moment, not really sure what to do with all of this going on in front of them. Good time to be a little bit patient here. And as we speak of being patient, Chris Stump in the 98 moves himself into 5th place, and he is closing in on our leaders here. We could see a 5-car battle for the race lead.
Yeah, the leader is running 2 by 2, 2 rows deep. It is allowing Chris Stump to pick up on that draft, and you can see just how quickly that Ford is catching everybody in front of him.
The Stump inches closer. Joe Schaefer in the 6 takes over the top spot. They get single file for a moment. McDuff trying to block the 57 of Garrett. Garrett says, no, I am going to the inside here. I want to be in 3rd.
Yeah, Fluffy has got himself a car here tonight, and he is motoring around this big Texas Speedway as he is battling it out for 3rd spot. Has a nose on him right now, maybe going for 2nd to the inside of Ryan Nolan.
Ryan Nolan going to hold him off for the moment. These cars do get a little tight coming off of a turn number 2. So Garrett in that 57 did have to lift a little bit. That is going to drop him down to a battle with McDuff now for third.
Good battle still going on for third spot between Garrett and McDuff. Garrett to the inside, had it on the line. So heading into turns 1 and 2, it's the 57, the 20 fighting back on the outside. Meanwhile, just ahead of him, Ryan Nolan and Schaefer now picking up one of the biggest leads we've seen so far this race at 0.5 of a second, a half a second for Joe Schaefer.
While all of that is going on, we got an intense battle here for 9th, 10th, and 11th. Throw in a few more cars here as well. Bill Martin moves himself into 9th place. Al Smith finding himself in 10th as he battles with the 2 of Brett Bardell's in the outside lane. The Rowdy Energy 2 machine trying to get some momentum there, but looks like he had to lift big time. And now Charlie Widener to the 2's inside.
Look, we saw Al Smith Jr. kind of get involved in that last caution, and obviously he has rebounded. Al Smith Jr. is being very quick around this track. He is locked up, tied for third spot with AJ Hamill. Hamill running in 7th spot. Al Smith Jr. takes over 10th. Both drivers in the top 10, KR. And we already said this, anything can happen here. This track very big, very fast, and obviously we've got more than one lane of traffic here tonight.
Yeah, these cars have been all over the speedway. Everyone looking for an advantage over their competitors. And right now, we're going to check in on our points leader. That is the 42 of Todd Sargent. He finds himself in 6th place. He is 4 spots behind Ryan Nolan as Ryan sits in 2nd place. And Ryan Nolan is trying to reel in a very fast Joe Schaefer now, as Schaefer has opened up a bit of a gap in this 6 machine as we are working lap 34 of 100.
McDuff, Nolan, Chris Stump, Fluffy Garrett, all kind of locked in here for a battle, but they've gone nose to tail, all except for Fluffy. Fluffy decides, hey, look, guys, we got to go or I'm going to try and pass you. And that didn't work out so well. So he falls back in line. Now they stretch it out again, 2 wide, going again. My goodness, these guys are fighting hard here tonight. As Chris Stump works his way to the inside of the 87, Ryan Nolan in trouble. Nolan stuck on the outside. Fluffy Garrett taking advantage.
So Ryan Nolan, just like that, goes from 2nd to 5th place as we look out the back of Fluffy Garrett in his 57. And you can see Todd Sargent now getting worked over by AJ Hamill as those two go to town for their positions. Hamill on the inside, Sargent on the outside.
But look just behind them, because just 3 cars behind, it's Al Smith and this 5-pack of cars.
Oh, Bill Martin sideways.
Oh, baby. Hang on to her.
Bill Martin dropped the left side tires down on the apron. It upset the car, and somehow the 39 is going to hold on to it. How did Bill Martin manage to hold on to that one?
Your guess is as good as mine. I thought he was going.
So the 39 gathers it back in. He's going to lose a few spots as the 95 and the 2 are going to make contact. Somehow they touched down the straightaway and held onto it. Charlie Widener got into the wall in that 95 machine. We stay green, but Charlie now going to have to gather himself back in, catch his breath, and get back up on the wheel and try and track down the 2 one more time.
2 early cautions, and it all seems to have been forgotten as we have stretched out to a nice long green flag run here. Your race leader, the 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. He's got about a 1.2 second lead over the 20 of Justin McDuff. Chris Stump sits in 3rd spot in his number 98. He's up 4 spots to be there. Jason Fluffy Garrett sits in 4th spot, and Ryan Nolan is hanging around in that 5th position. AJ Hamill 6th, Todd Sargent 7th, Matt McLean, Al Smith Jr., and Steve Page, our pole sitter, rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, Stephen Page in that 1 machine has fallen to 10th place right now. But keep in mind, you know, I feel he is just riding a pace where he is comfortable with. We saw a heck of a battle at the front of this field here, and you gotta wonder what they did to their tires to try and lead this race.
Well, that's one thing I'm definitely starting to think about. I mean, the 87, look, we know he was fast, and now all of a sudden he's in fourth spot. You've got guys that started many positions behind in front of him, and some guys that had fallen some positions starting to catch up to him. So the 87, the right side tires might be a little hurting right now. Maybe just let them cool off, see if they'll come back. But KR, you and I both know once the tires go, something is not usually going to come back.
No, the tires, when they're gone, they are gone. But Joe Schaefer, speaking of gone, he is trying to check out on this field as he continues to lead in this 6. He now has almost a 1 second lead over the 20 of Justin McDuff, and we are nearing the halfway point. So when are these drivers going to start hitting pit road? I think their fuel is going to run out somewhere around lap 60.
Yeah, so we know they have to stop. It's a matter of when are they going to stop. And you know, sometimes we see those short pits, they work out, they get you the spot on track. But if everybody has to come down, that short pit option really isn't an option for you, right, KR? I mean, eventually the tires are going to equalize, and then your tires are going to go away. The guys that waited a little longer are going to have slightly fresher tires. I mean, isn't that how it works?
It is kind of how it works. And, you know, you just really want to try and take advantage of the fresh tires while you have them, and then try and just maintain whatever you have gained. Yeah, those guys who waited a little bit longer, as Garrett's going to get in the wall on the 57 machine. Heavy impact for the 57. He keeps it up on the wall, trying to stay out of the way of everyone. And that is heavy damage on the 57. It looks like he is going to head for pit road. Tough break for Jason Garrett as he had a good race going.
And guys, let me explain something real quick. You don't know how hard it is for a driver once they hit that outside wall to pin that car there. The natural reaction, you think about it, if you were in your car and you hit something on the right hand side, the first reaction you're going to have is to try and get away from it, try and lessen the damage. These drivers are no different. They're trying to get away from that wall, but they know if they do, there's a chance that they're going to bring somebody else into the equation, and they don't want to do that. They're kind of going against their own brain, their own mentality, and pinning that thing towards the wall. You actually saw the tires pointing to the right. A great job out of Jason Garrett there to keep it on the wall.
So as the 6 continues to lead, we are inching closer to the halfway mark, and Jason Garrett in the 57 pulls it on the pit road, and not just on the pit road, but he is going to go behind the wall. It looks like his night is done. After starting 18 cars here at Texas Motor Speedway, we're down to 13 drivers out on track.
Yeah, he joins the long list of Bruce Potter, Andy Lambert, Jeremy Carpenter, and Mike Holtzclaw as drivers that will not finish here tonight, but 13 still going, all on the lead lap. And KR, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but the lead, it's shrinking.
Yeah, Joe Schaefer looks like he is slowed up. Todd Sargent in the 42 machine. He's going to be our first driver on the pit road. He slows it down, and the 42 is going to make his pit stop here. Now we are going to see how this plays out. You talked about short pit. The 42 is going to do it. We'll see how this works out for him. Keep in mind, he came into this race as our points champion. Will these other drivers respond to him hitting pit road?
Well, definitely two choices here. One, you can follow the leader. In this case, of course, it's your points leader. Or two, you can run your own race and see where it gets you. I do want to bring up something I thought it's kind of funny at the beginning of this, during practice, way back in practice now, KR. There were some jokes going around about Joe finally having figured out these cookie cutters. I think he certainly has.
Yeah, the 6 of Joe Schaefer out in front, but Justin McDuff is closing in on him as we're going to go on board with McDuff in the 20 machine. Empire Racing Team Tim Hortons on that machine. And you can see he has reeled in that 6 once again. But I'll tell you, Joe Schaefer, he is as crafty as they come behind the wheel. I kind of feel like maybe he got out to that lead, started opening up, and realized he could back it down a little bit and try and save his equipment.
And that very well might be what it's coming down to, but the lead is still shrinking down to 0.3 of a second, KR. And sometimes you get out in that lead and you got the adrenaline going and you just keep pressing that pedal and you keep turning that wheel. And Schaefer may have burned off a right front on that car. We're going to have to wait and see how it all shakes out. Here we are working lap number 50 of 100. Next time by, we'll break the halfway point.
McDuff now on the back bumper of the 6. He has closed that lead to half a car length as the 20 really now dives down to the inside. Schaefer not going to put up a challenge. Schaefer stays on the top shelf here, and the 20 of McDuff going to try and get a run off of turn number 2 on that inside lane.
Side by side for the race lead. Schaefer to the outside, McDuff to the inside. McDuff in the Tim Hortons machine takes it to the inside through the corners, and about halfway in, McDuff does take over the race lead one more time. Schaefer looks like he was going to fall in line. He finally does.
2 more cars on pit road. That's Bill Martin and Brett Bartels. And it looks like the 42 of Todd Sargent, who has gone a couple laps down, or I shouldn't say a couple laps down, but was the first one on pit road. He is going to make his way past Bill Martin and Brett Bartels, who are now making their way off of pit lane. And those fresh tires really have worked to his advantage so far. But, you know, like I said, he's hoping that the green flag stays out in this 42. He is now working his way to the inside of the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre.
Sargent pit on lap number 46. Bill Martin, Brett Bartels pit on lap number 50. So let's see if those 4 laps will make a difference for Bill Martin and Brett Bartels. Can they catch Todd Sargent, try and get to be the first car a lap down? Meanwhile, Todd Sargent doing what he has to do in that 42 to try and keep it on up there. We're going to see what happens with Todd Sargent as we continue on. And it looks like, oh, yep, he's actually not the first driver a lap down. It looks like possibly.
No, Todd Sargent is the first car one lap down.
Yeah, he is. Yep.
Bill Martin, Brett Bartels, all 1 lap down as well, but they have made their pit stops. No one else has come down pit road for tires yet, as we are past the halfway point. So that pit window is open, and now it really just comes down to how you want to work this strategy. We saw Todd Sargent be the first one on the pit lane. Justin McDuff in the 20 out in front. Joe Schaefer Jr. now on his back bumper. When will these 2 leaders hit pit road, and can they get on and off pit lane without drawing a speeding penalty?
Well, that's another thing you got to think about here at Texas. You're so used to running about 170 miles an hour, KR. Blowing it up just to get down pit road is one thing, and then stopping in your box in the correct spot, that's a whole other story. And certainly there isn't a driver in the service, I don't think, that's gone past his, or it hasn't gone past his pit stall.
I'll tell you what, that is one of the hardest things to do, is because you don't get a whole lot of time to practice that, but hit your marks for pit road perfectly. And, you know, as little as it is practiced, it can cost you more than an incident out on the speedway.
Well, it sure can. Well, McDuff, Schaefer still out there, still running around this track. KR, you thought about lap 60. They would have to come down. Here we are working lap number 57. And these guys showing no signs of slowing down, except for when you start looking at their lap times. Now, McDuff, as your race leader, we're going to pick on him just a little bit. His best lap time, a 29.96. Last time by a 31.89. So definitely has some tire fall off, KR. But is it bad enough to warrant Todd Sargent coming down pit road the way he did? And I'm going to point out something here very important too. His best lap time, excuse me, his last lap time, a 31.08. So not that much quicker than your race leaders with the fresh tires.
No, it's still almost a second faster. And so if you keep that in mind, he is going 1 second faster than the drivers out who have not made a pit stop yet. So when they do come down pit road, he is going to have an advantage, but he has now turned 19 laps on his tires. He is starting to slow down a little bit because of that, but he has gained a whole lot of time on them. So it is going to be quite a interesting picture to see once everyone cycles through pit road. Ryan Nolan, the next driver to hit pit lane in that 87 machine. We'll see how this plays out between Ryan Nolan and Todd Sargent.
Yeah, Chris Stump also on pit road. So Nolan and Stump give up positions on track. AJ Hamill now coming down pit road along with Al Smith Jr. So pit stops are starting to happen here as we're working lap 60. Just what you said.
So Hamill in the 18 hitting pit road, and Todd Sargent in the 42 has got by Ryan Nolan. So championship implications here. That 42 machine making his way around Ryan Nolan, but Ryan Nolan not too far behind him.
Yeah, Ryan Nolan not too far behind him, and in theory going to be faster than he is right now. So can he catch him? Can he keep up? Top 5 drivers have not come down pit road yet. It's McDuff, Schaefer, Matt McLean, Steve Page, Charlie Widener have not come down pit road. Every other driver has visited pit road for tires. So look, we got a long way to go. 39 laps still left here at Texas. Okay, our strategies are starting to be employed. Who do you have? Who's doing the best job out there? And man, I mean, it's easy to say McDuff or Schaefer, but who do you have as a dark horse maybe?
Oh man, I've kept my eye on Stephen Page. I'm curious to see how his race pace is going to pan out for that one machine. So we're showing you the lap times of McDuff, our race leader. You can see he is really starting to fall off here, turning a 32.067 last time around. This time as he crosses the line, he is going to end up with a 32.026. So he's now solidly in that 32 second bracket. And what that means is, while Todd Sargent, who hit pit road, is turning 31.6, Todd Sargent still going faster than Justin McDuff.
Yeah, and we got 2 more joining the party here on pit road. Stephen Page and Matt McLean in his 88 coming down pit road. Top 3 drivers, McDuff, Schaefer, and Widener have not. And then as I'm saying that, Schaefer in the 6 brings it down pit road. 2 drivers out on track have not come down pit road. Your race leader, Justin McDuff, in 3rd place, which is going to be 2nd soon, Charlie Widener.
Yeah, those 2 drivers have not hit pit lane. Bill Martin in the 39 machine, right behind our race leader, Justin McDuff, as McDuff looks like he is going to start his entry onto pit road. That puts Bill Martin back on the lead lap. And so Bill Martin, of the drivers who have pitted, he is the first car out there. We'll see how this plays out. He has gotten by Joe Schaefer, Todd Sargent right behind Bill Martin, but Todd Sargent is 4 seconds behind Bill Martin.
Yeah, right now, look, our timing scoring is going a little crazy as our race leader finally did hit pit road. The Dodge, the 95 of Charlie Widener, is being scored as your race leader. He has not come down pit road yet. Something that I'm sure will change soon. Bill Martin going to be scored in 2nd place. Then Todd Sargent, Chris Stump, and Ryan Nolan rounding out your top 5. Let's keep in mind, though, that Nolan has about 12 laps newer, fresh tires than Todd Sargent. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that as the 87 tries to take advantage of those newer tires.
So Charlie Widener, your race leader, he does have almost a 9.2 second lead over Bill Martin, but Widener has not hit pit road. Here recently, he did come down pit lane. No, he didn't come down pit lane. He was just involved in that spin. So the 95 trying to stretch this out as far as possible.
Yeah, Widener, I don't know how he's still going. He's out there on fumes. You got to know that. But man, he is still out there. He's running, for old tires. Pretty decent lap times of 32.92, but Chris Stump, who just got around Todd Sargent, running a 30.54, 2+ seconds faster per lap. How much longer can Widener hold on at 2 seconds a lap?
Yeah, the 98 of Chris Stump has made his way around Todd Sargent. That means now Ryan Nolan in the 87, who does have the fresher tires than the 42, he's closing in on him very quickly. And Ryan Nolan now going to pull down to the inside of the 42 and make the pass here as they head off for turn number 1. Ryan Nolan easily dispatches the 42, so Todd Sargent did use those fresh tires to his advantage for a little while, but now everyone else who is pitted taking their swing at the 42.
Watch for Charlie Widener. I believe he's going to come down pit road. He is making his way down onto pit road right now. That will surrender the lead to the 39 of Bill Martin for the first time here tonight.
So Bill Martin out in front in that 39 machine. Chris Stump now into second place, Ryan Nolan third, Todd Sargent fourth, and AJ Hamill finding himself in that 18 machine, rounding out the top 5.
Now Bill Martin out there enjoying a little punch and pie as he is our race leader. He's got a 2.5 second lead over Chris Stump and hoping to maintain that. He's had a pretty good strategy here tonight. He's been quiet up until this point, but here he is, the 39, your race leader.
So as Martin tries to stay out in front of a very fast 98 Chris Stump, last time around Bill Martin turned as the yellow flag is going to come out, and I believe something has happened to the 42 of Todd Sargent. Let's see if this is the case. Not 100% sure here what's going on with the 42, but
I saw him blinking quite badly, like really badly. Not sure exactly what's going on, KR. Obviously, iRacing was thinking there was a caution there as Todd Sargent actually got around McDuff for 5th spot not too long ago, but then started blinking horribly, and that may have been enough. Don't quote me, but I believe that it was going to be on Todd Sargent, who right now is being scored a lap down.
So things have not turned out the way that the 42 would like here as the yellow flag comes out one more time, and Todd Sargent, maybe internet issues sending the 42 onto pit lane here. Well, Chris, I don't know about you, but I could use a little bit of a break. Nobody go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
racing. You wanted the best. You got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt. The World of Outlaws.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as the field continues to pace around behind our pace car. We had a long green flag run there, Chris. Everyone had made pit stops under green flag conditions, and now we're going to see a whole lot of different tires, meaning how many laps are on each driver's tires, come into play here as this yellow flag has bunched everyone up.
Well, it has, KR, and there's still some question as to what the heck is going on here. And the only thing that I can tell you is, if I'm looking at the server notes, Todd Sargent received a throughput fell to unacceptable level message. It looks like that was the cause of the caution. Not sure if there was an actual connect with anybody else on the track. Still just trying to figure it out.
Well, tough break for the 42, especially as that points battle was so close coming into this race. But man, oh man, I'll tell you, things are getting hot here in Texas. The sun has been down, but the race is heating up as the lights go out on the pace car. Everyone gonna stack up 2 by 2. We got Bill Martin, who came down pit road on lap 50. Chris Stump with 7 lap fresher tires, going to be starting on his outside. And 7 laps may not seem like a lot, but it could be 1/10 to 2/10 of a second per lap here. That might be all that Chris Stump needs on this restart.
Well, it really might be, and we're going to find out here very quickly, as like you said, KR, the Ford Mustang has shut the lights off. We're getting ready to go back to green. And let's keep in mind, not only does Chris Stump have fresher tires, but so does Ryan Nolan and a lot of other drivers too back there. So Bill Martin gonna have his hands full in that Impala. He's got his work cut out for him.
So as the field makes its way down the backstretch, we are down to 11 cars out on the track after starting 18. Todd Sargent, internet issues, Charlie Widener out of it, Jason Garrett, Bruce Potter, Andy Lambert, Jeremy Carpenter, and Mike Holtzclaw all have packed up and gone home early here. Stephen Page, the only car down a lap. He is down 3 laps right now. As we get ready to go racing once again, green flag coming out. Bill Martin getting a heck of a start as the field makes its way towards turn number 1. Ryan Nolan in the 87 is going to make his way past Chris Stump and looking for more as he takes a peek to the outside.
Well, look, unfortunately for Todd Sargent, something is going on, and with that, Ryan Nolan is going to capitalize. Ryan Nolan right now drops down to the inside. He's got Chris Stump behind him. He's looking for the lead in, has taken it.
Bill Martin on the outside. He is going to get freight trained by 4 cars. Justin McDuff makes his way by. Now Joe Schaefer touches the grass a little bit, and he gets by on the inside lane as well. Ryan Nolan to the front of this field, and he is trying now to hold off Justin McDuff and Chris Stump.
There are other points, implications getting ready to be settled here tonight, and among them, tied for 3rd spot, Al Smith Jr., AJ Hamill, those two side by side on track.
So Bill Martin, who goes from the race lead, he falls to 5th place, and now Al Smith and AJ Hamill are trying to figure out how to get around this 39 machine. They're going to split the 39. Smith down to the bottom as they are 3 wide down the backstretch.
And that will let Smith get around the 39, but it's going to allow AJ Hamill, who was able to hold the momentum on the outside, to get in front of Al Smith Jr. Smith now has the 88 of Matt McLean tight on that rear bumper, may have had some contact.
So as AJ Hamill moves into 5th place, Al Smith trying to hold off the 88 of McLean. McLean taking a peek to the outside here. Al Smith gives him room down the back stretch, and into turn number 3, they are going to go lug nut to lug nut.
Al Smith trying to keep his position, knows that every point matters. The guy just in front of these two is AJ Hamill, the guy he came in tied for 3rd spot in the points. And now Matt McLean in the 88 using that outside momentum, KR. It looks like he is going to try and take away that spot. Has him by a fender. We're going to see what happens on the backstretch.
Justin McDuff in the 20 does take over the race lead. He is on the freshest set of tires out here right now. He came down pit road on lap 64, 1 lap after Joe Schaefer. Schaefer finds himself in 2nd place. Ryan Nolan now sitting in 3rd. Chris Stump rounding out those 4 drivers who were battling for the race lead. They are opening up a gap over AJ Hamill, almost 0.8 seconds now between the 98 and the 18.
Yeah, but watch out for AJ Hamill. He's got Matt McLean right tight to his bumper. And if those two don't go side by side, KR, they may be able to catch Chris Stump sitting in that 4th spot. Right now, AJ Hamill in the top 5, running in the 5th spot.
McLean taking a peek to the inside here. Hamill still trying to maintain that 5th place position, holds off McLean for the moment, but that 88 all over the back bumper of the 18. Now McLean goes to the high side. Hamill washes up just a little bit, and now McLean trying to keep that 18 pinched down a little bit as they head on to the front stretch and look for turn number 1.
Rounding into turn 1, McLean to the outside, has the momentum around the 18 of AJ Hamill, and he does make that pass, KR. AJ Hamill tries to battle back, can't quite do it. He falls back in line behind the 88 of Matt McLean.
While all of that is going on, Joe Schaefer in the 6 is closed into the back bumper of the 20. We're going to have a battle for the lead here with 16 laps to go. Well, I'm sorry, 17 laps to go. I can't count. That's okay. They don't pay me to count very often.
You don't really have to count, but it's right there in the top left-hand side. But you're right. Joe Schaefer has caught the 20, now dives down to the inside, heading into turns 3 and 4. Schaefer for the race lead. The 6 has taken away from Justin McDuff.
Schaefer now leading this race as we finally have 16 laps to go. See, I was just from the future.
Yeah, I know how that works sometimes. Yeah, I get it. KR, look, I get it, man. Joe Schaefer, though, your race leader. McDuff 2nd. Ryan Nolan taking advantage of, unfortunately, Todd Sargent's bad internet connection here tonight. And it looks like, with that being said, Ryan Nolan's going to come out of here with a good finish, good enough to probably, as long as he doesn't crash like right now, good enough to take over the points lead here heading into the last race. Big night here for the 87.
Yeah, big night for the 87. Ryan Nolan, who won 2 races in a row earlier in June before we picked up the final 4 races here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Ryan Nolan, no stranger to victory lane here tonight, but also Joe Schaefer looking for his 2nd win of the season. Justin McDuff, he's hungry for his 1st win, and McDuff all over the back bumper of the 6. The battle for the race lead is not over with yet. We got 14 laps to go. Anything can happen right now.
And you know, KR, that tells you just how strong the competition here is at the Coffee Cup Nitro Series. If you were to tell me we were 11 races in and Justin McDuff hasn't won a race yet, I'd call you a liar.
Well, McDuff hasn't won a race yet, but he also hasn't been trying to make every race this season. He's running when he can, but when he does show up, man, he makes sure that everyone knows he is there, a front runner, no matter where he goes. This 20 machine all over the back bumper of the 6, but Joe Schaefer holding him off for now and trying to get some breathing room.
Schaefer still holds on to a very slim lead, just 0.16 at the race line, and we've got 12 laps to go. So let's run down real quick. It's Schaefer, McDuff, Chris Stump running in third spot. Following him is Ryan Nolan. Matt McLean, who passed AJ Hamill, sits in the fifth spot. Hamill just outside in sixth position. Here comes Al Smith trying to catch him. Al Smith Jr. Remember, those two drivers locked in for a battle for third spot in the points. Al Smith, after an early caution that affected him, has worked his way back up to seventh spot. Jimmy McIntyre Jr. in the 81 running in eighth spot. Bill Martin and Brett Bartles rounding out the top 10.
Stephen Page is currently in 11th spot. He does find himself off the lead lap and running as the last car out on the speedway. So 11 cars still in this race. We started 18 as Justin McDuff in the 20, really trying to figure out how he wants to work over this 6.
Yeah, he's got just 10 laps to figure it out, but McDuff, I think he might be slightly faster through a good portion of the track, but the exit that the 6 is getting, Schaefer is doing a great job there. And this time McDuff may get him on the entry. The 20 goes side by side, racing through the corners.
The 20 machine has the momentum, has the run. Can he clear the 6 on the front stretch? He's going to get it done. Joe Schaefer now trying to figure out how he is going to hold on to his dreams of victory here at Texas. But Justin McDuff looking like maybe he's not going to be denied tonight.
Yeah, it looks like maybe Schaefer was possibly expecting a crossover type move to be opened up. It did not happen. McDuff was able to hold it down to the white line, and McDuff takes over the race lead. Looking back a little further, it looks like the 88 of Matt McLean may be starting to climb up into Chris Stump's area as he's taking the upside, the high lane away from Chris Stump. Stump trapped down to the inside in the 98. And Matt McLean looking to try and take advantage. And of course, Ryan Nolan sitting there in the fifth spot. He's like, yeah, go ahead, guys, because I've got a little bit more horsepower. I can probably get there if you keep side by side.
McLean pulled it down to the inside, but that move cost him a little bit of momentum as his car looked like it broke sideways. That is going to allow Ryan Nolan to get to his back bumper, as now Nolan takes a look to the inside here through turns 1 and 2. So Matt McLean, now who went from challenging for third spot, now trying to hold on to fourth.
Well, Ryan Nolan, who hails from Vermont, the 87 machine, stuck in that fifth spot behind Matt McLean. McLean doing everything he can with 6 laps to go to try and figure out how to catch the back of Chris Stump once again and to keep Ryan Nolan at bay.
While this battle in third, fourth, and fifth is going on, first and second had said goodbye to this field. Not only that, but Justin McDuff opening up a gap on Joe Schaefer as we go on aboard with McDuff. Looking out the back of his race machine, you can see he's got about a 2-car length lead on the 6.
Yeah, McDuff doing everything he can to try and win this one. And I guess, you know, like I said, 11 races in, even if he hasn't done them all, look, McDuff is a perennial front of the pack driver. And anytime he hasn't won a race, I kind of scratch my head. It looks like tonight he might be trying to correct that, as with 4 laps to go at the line, McDuff is your race leader.
Joe Schaefer carrying us on board for this shot. As you can see, McDuff really gets a good run through 1 and 2 and is able to pull away. And that is where McDuff really is shining here, is right through the corners. Schaefer not able to match that corner speed that McDuff has. And so Justin, now with 3 laps to go this time by, continues to pull away. That's some of the best news you can have as a driver.
Well, KR, the answer to our tire question is yes. Every lap newer your tire is, the better you're going to be. 1 lap differential on the tires between your race leader of McDuff and the second place runner of Joe Schaefer Jr. And the difference is showing up on track. McDuff, your race leader, Schaefer running in second, Chris Stump, Matt McLean, Ryan Nolan, your top 5, AJ Hamill, Al Smith Jr. still duking it out for 6th spot. Jimmy McIntyre Jr. in 8th, Bill Martin, Brett Bartle, Stephen Page, the only other drivers on track right now, but all eyes as popsicle sticks are in the air are on Justin McDuff to try and win here at Texas for the Cowboy Coffee 100.
100 laps, our scheduled distance here, as we got 2 more times around. The flagman grabs the white flag, displays it to Justin McDuff. Final time for the 20. All he has to do is bring it home cleanly, hit his marks. No challenge behind him, as he has opened up a 1.4 second lead over Joe Schaefer.
Yeah, late into this one, 1.4 second lead. McDuff can put it on cruise control. Has to just hit his marks with the steering wheel. And coming through turns 3 and 4, Justin McDuff on the front stretch.
Off of turn number 4 for the final time, and across the line is gonna be Justin McDuff picking up the Cowboy Coffee 100 victory here tonight. Dramatic race from start to finish, dramatic implication in the point standings, as we are now down to just 1 race left in the season. But all eyes, as you said, are on McDuff here as he picks up his first win this season.
3 cautions on the night. The Tim Hortons number 20 has found a way to victory lane. Joe Schaefer, Chris Stump rounding out your top 3. The battle for the 2 guys tied for 3rd in points is like this. AJ Hamill finishes 6th. Al Smith Jr., after that being involved in that 2nd caution of the night, comes home in the 7th spot.
All right, guys, we are going to step away from the microphone and set up our post-race show. No one go anywhere. We'll be back to talk to our top 3 finishers here tonight. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we kick off our post-race show, and Chris is caught up with our race winner, and that is none other than Justin McDuff.
Yeah, the 20 of Justin McDuff had a heck of a night tonight, and Justin, I was saying it during the broadcast, but here we are, week 11 of a race season, no wins up until this point. I couldn't believe it. KR kept saying it. I said, no way, that can't be possible. Here you are to prove it wrong. The 20 brings home the checkered flag. Tell me how you're feeling.
That was a lot of fun. My left hand is like numb right now from gripping the wheel so hard. I really like the new configuration here at Texas. We ran a practice race way back when, before the coffee cup really became like a full-on thing. I thought it was a lot of fun, so I was really looking forward to tonight. It really hasn't been the season that I was hoping for. I've had a couple opportunities to win, slip through my fingers by mistakes of my own, whether it be the driving or strategy, and then getting caught up in other stuff, having to come to the field. So tonight was a lot of fun. We raced really hard early in the race there. Once we finally got green, and then I raced really hard with Joe. It was just a lot of fun.
Well, that gets to the point. I mean, you and Joe Schaefer really were the kind of the class of the field here tonight. You guys amongst you led most of the race, and yet at the end you had a 1.5 second lead at the line when you crossed that start finish line for the race win. What did you do at the end of the race that could have been different from Schaefer? he only had one lap older tires than you did.
Yeah, I mean, the one lap might have made a little bit of a difference, especially with the new tire here in the ARCA car. But um, I felt like I really hit my marks a lot better, and I actually was kind of happy that he passed me because I tend to do a little bit better when I have a rabbit to chase in front of me and kind of pace off of. And then I kind of thought from the earlier long run we had that I might have been a tick better on the long run. He kind of hung with me, and I think I actually held him up a little bit there right before we pitted. But I was just going to see what happened, and then I got a run, and I just took it. And like I said, I thought I clicked off some really consistent laps and was able to pull out a gap there at the end.
Well, as you know, consistency is key. Who do you got on the 20 that you need to thank tonight?
Well, I got to thank Tim Hortons. It's not my usual sponsor, but Tim Hortons for the Coffee Cup Racing League here. It's only fitting. I chugged 2 of their coffees today to get me through the day. So thanks, Tim Hortons. Thanks for Joe, Ryan, Chris, and Fluffy for the fun race. We were racing really hard. It was like a plate race at the beginning of it. Once we finally got green there. Thank you guys for the broadcast. And thanks to AJ for all he does. He sweats all the little details, and I think it really shows. And I hope everyone enjoys what he does for all of us.
All right. Congratulations once again going out to our race winner tonight, the 20 of Justin McDuff. KR.
Now we move on to our second place finisher, and that is Joe Schaefer in the 6. And Joe, solid run here tonight in that 6 machine, led a bunch of laps, but at the end there, Justin McDuff came on strong, and we feel it all came down to that yellow flag and who hit pit road win.
Yeah, first off, I have to apologize to Todd Sargent. He was blinking all over the place, and I was the cause of that caution. He blinked right into me, and next thing you know, I was getting, 4x, 2x notifications, and he was in the fence. I couldn't see him, so sorry about that. First and foremost, I am very happy with second place. This is not the kind of tracks that I typically have success on. I'm all short tracks all the time. So to finish second means I'm learning something, not only about running these kind of tracks, but also about the new tire. So it was good to have Justin as kind of a measuring stick throughout the race and learn some things from him on that long run. When he did get by me, I learned some things from his line and I was able to keep up with him. But at the end there, man, I just melted it. That was all me. That was all my fault.
Well, Joe, a second place finish here at Texas. It is 1.5 miles, and if you like short tracks, then this is kind of outside your comfort zone. But man, what a solid run by the 6 here tonight. As I said, led a bunch of laps, bringing it home in second place. Who do you have to thank for this effort here tonight?
I'll thank Drew Krybeck with Epic Media, teammates at the Posse. Justin for running me clean. That was a fun race, so congrats again to him. Everybody else in the top 5, that was fun. So can't really learn if you don't have good people to race with. So thanks to you guys, and thanks to AJ as well for all the organizing he does.
All right, that is Joe Schaefer, your second place finisher here tonight. And Chris, you've caught up with Chris.
Yeah, Chris Stump out of Ohio with the number 98 machine. Chris, you brought it home 3rd spot after starting 7th, and it was a pretty good night for you. Why don't you take me through going through the laps, going through the traffic here tonight?
Yeah, I think I finished about where I deserved. Obviously, Justin and Joe were the class of the field, and the only shot I had was to try to short pitting them a little bit. They're at the short pitting them a little bit there.
Oh, it's begun.
In the middle of the race, and I think I would have been. I don't know if I would have held them off, but I got out to a pretty decent lead, and when that caution came out, I knew I was done for, and had a good little battle with Ryan and Matt. But overall, finished about where I deserved tonight. It was pretty low key for me, which was good.
All right, Stump. Who do you got on that 98 that you need to thank, bud?
We'll give a shout out to Screwball Whiskey. Congrats to Justin on his awesome win and my Empire Racing teammate, and also AJ. He had a good run, and I want to thank AJ for all the work he puts in to this, sending messages, asking for feedback 24 hours a day, it seems like. And I want to thank you guys up the booth. Do an awesome job.
All right, Chris. Well, listen, the 98, it doesn't have a front nose clip anymore, but it looks like you got the tires underneath it. Good luck here in the Demolition Derby, and good job here tonight.
Thanks, Chris.
AR, up to you.
All right, man, the Demolition Derby has started. The 98 of Chris Stump already got some damage on the right front. A little bit of a disadvantage to our top three as that Demo Derby started before they had any momentum. But Chris, we got this Demo Derby going on right now. We got a few cars looking like they're already struggling to move. One of them that's got a good little clip going is the 88 of McLean.
Yeah, McLean. The left front tire, I don't know if you see it the way I do, but that thing not even touching the track right now. So I'm not sure. Well, he can make a right-hand turn. Oh, you know, KR, both front tires don't seem to be spinning. Okay, now that he's on the corner, it does. But, oh boy, the 88 getting up ahead of steam to see if he can come around and cause some damage.
Yeah, McLean now working, trying to figure out how, and he is going to see around this popped up hood, and he is looking for his next victim as he heads onto the front stretch. Who is the 88 going to hit? Chris Stump, the only car out on the speedway, and McLean is going to miss him. So the 88, the unofficial winner here for our Demolition Derby, and that is going to do it for us here tonight. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us as we go through our results for this race. Justin McDuff, your race winner. Joe Schaefer bringing it home second. Chris Stump third. Matt McLean in fourth. And rounding out your top five is Ryan Nolan.
Yeah, then you've got AJ Hamill, Al Smith Jr. finishing seventh spot. Bill Martin, Jimmy McIntyre Jr., and Brett Bartles rounding out the top 10.
11th goes to Stephen Page. Todd Sargent had the points lead coming into tonight, but internet issues finds him 31 laps down in 12th spot. 13th goes to Charlie Widener. 14th, Jason Garrett. Bruce Potter going to finish in 15th spot.
Last three finishers, Andy Lambert, Jeremy Carpenter in the 777 in 17th spot, and Mike Holtzclaw 18th in his number 22. KR, it's been a fun night here in Texas. Was it everything you thought it would be?
Absolutely it was, and I'll tell you, it was a good time from start to finish. And so, guys, with all that being said, I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. Make sure you tune in next Wednesday night, same time, same place, right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, as we will be bringing you the final race of the season, and that is going to be taking place as I've lost my notes. So make sure you join us next week, season finale, and until then, guys, have a good night.